How is everyone?
Very great, Nick.
Hope you're enjoying the night so far and the wonderful music provided by Steve Anning and his wonderful band. So I've been thinking about this evening for quite a while, and I'm incredibly privileged to have such a wonderful group of people who are so special to me and who I've known for some of you for my whole life in this room, but the majority of you over the past 11 years since I took over Scarborough Physiotherapy back in 2004 as a stupid 21-year-old with a personal loan. So what I'd like to do tonight is I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Why Am I in Pain? The book, that is. So if you're here tonight, the majority of you have been patients being tortured by me on my physio bed up at Scarborough Physiotherapy. Some of you tonight are doctors and specialists and people who are trying to help people suffering from pain. And some of you are just friends of mine from Redcliffe and the area. My dad's here, my wife's here, and my mother-in-law Wendy as well. So yeah, I feel very privileged to have you all here, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. So what I'd like to do tonight is tell you a little bit about the story behind Why Am I in Pain, share a bit of that with you, give you a little bit of a rundown about some of the main themes of Why Am I in Pain, just very briefly. So Why Am I in Pain is a really simple book. It's written for people who suffer pain. It's based on my experiences as a physio over the last 11 years. So basically I talk about how pain works and how that's relevant to you. And I talk about some of the common negative beliefs that people who suffer pain have and how they can overcome those beliefs. So yeah, I feel there's three main things that cause chronic pain. The first one is the injuries you've had now and in the past. The second one is your state of general health. And the third one is the things that you do every day. So I'm just going to expand a little bit more on these 3 points, but first I'm just going to tell a story about how I came to be here. So when I was young, our family moved around a lot, and I had to learn the special skill of making friends very quickly. So yeah, people have always been my love. That's why you're all here tonight. And I was sick when I was young. I spent about 3 months in Canberra Hospital with asthma, and this was my first exposure to the medical profession. So I had all these wonderful doctors and nurses looking after me, and I just felt confident and I felt safe, and I really admired these people. So I got to the point where I got to choose my career, and I chose physiotherapy because I thought it was a really good blend of helping people and obviously the medical profession, and also medicine was a bit too hard to get into. So yeah, I chose physiotherapy. I must admit I hated uni. It was a drag. I didn't get to treat any people. The 4th year of university, you're out in hospitals looking after people, and that was great. So I needed a job, and I saw a sign at uni, physio practice for sale, Scarborough. I thought, where's this Scarborough place? And I looked on a map, and I envisaged this windy hill with like a clinic sitting on top of it, and yeah, it wasn't like that. So I came up to Scarborough, and it was paradise. And I was one of 5 people that could have been chosen for the medical centre, and a lady called Dr. Indrani Benedict, who's a wonderful lady, chose me, and that was where things started. So yeah, I was in my dream job looking after people I really liked, built up a good business and a good following at Scarborough, and yeah, everything was really good. I met my wonderful wife in 2005, and yeah, treating people over the years, I started to become a little bit dissatisfied that there was a small number of people that would come to my clinic that I couldn't help. So these people have what I now know as chronic pain. So I'd do a treatment with them, or give them some exercises, and their symptoms would get worse, and I wouldn't really know why. So I started to doubt not only myself as a physio, but the ability of physiotherapists in general to help people with chronic pain. Around the same time, this was about 2007, I had a bloke come into my physio room, and he said, yeah, come down and sign up with my business. Everyone's doing really well. And that company was called Storm Financial. So yeah, I then proceeded to lose my life savings in 2007, and I'd almost paid off my house at about age 26, and I was back at square one. So yeah, now I was just a little bit disillusioned. I'd worked really hard. I worked 6-day weeks for 5 years, and I had nothing to show for it. But one good thing this did was it made me really take stock of where I was at, and I knew I needed to do two things. So the first thing I needed to do was I needed to learn how to run a business, because I didn't know how to do this. And the second thing was I needed to learn how to help these people who suffered chronic pain, because I couldn't help them and I really wanted to. So I started looking for mentors, and I found 4 different mentors. 2 are physio mentors, 2 are business mentors. One's in this room tonight, he's over there. His name's Brad Flynn, so thank you, Brad. And yeah, I started to educate myself in how to run a proper business and how to help people with chronic pain. So in 2009, took a leap of faith and I moved out of Magellan Medical Centre. We bought a small premises on Bunton Street, Scarborough. It looked like a little bomb shelter, but we fitted it out, so it was quite nice. And I realised at this time I was working really hard, I was still on my own. I loved people, I wanted a team, so I wanted some great people around me. So the first great person I chose to join me was this wonderful lady sitting here, looking at the ground, Kate Elliott. She's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it was just myself and Kate, and then we took on Sue Lenton, who's our other wonderful receptionist. And for me, probably my game changer in terms of where we've gone with the clinic was this guy behind the camera here. So his name's Mitch Hamer, everyone, and so we could now grow. We took on Steph and we took on Beck, who are our awesome massage therapists. And then we outgrew that little premises. So about a year ago, we moved into 93 Lansborough Avenue, which for you long-term locals is the old Commonwealth Bank. So we've been able to grow even further. We have Michael, psychologist. We have Mary, who's a counsellor, and we have Rachel, who's a women's health physio. So basically we're now a team of 9 people. We see about 300 people a week, helping them with all types of aches and pains. And about a year ago I thought it's probably time for me to do something about this, so I decided to write Why Am I in Pain. It was a really easy book to write. Writing it was the easy bit. It took 30 days. And then this lady at the front here, Kirsty Ogden, who's my editor and publisher, helped turn it into the physical product you see. So thank you, Kirsty. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I consider those 3 drivers of pain. So the first thing that causes pain is the injuries you've had now and in the past. So if you've ever had an injury, does it frustrate you that you don't really know how long it's going to take to get better? So sometimes they heal quickly and sometimes they take a long time. So I'm just going to tell you a story about someone I treated for who this is relevant. So I remember a lady came into my clinic and she just had a knee replacement about 6 months before, and she had a sore knee. So basically this lady was pretty concerned that the surgery hadn't worked. It had worked, and I spoke to her and I found out why her knee was sore. So 2 years before her knee became sore, she had a hip replacement on the other side. And I said to her, did you have any rehabilitation for that hip? And she said no. And I tested her knee, it was perfect, it was strong and not swollen at all. And I tested her hip and she almost collapsed when she put weight on that leg. So the hip was the problem. So by treating her hip, her knee pain was gone in about 4 weeks. So this is an example of, if you've had an injury in the past, it can very much contribute to something that you're suffering from now. So we have to think a little bit outside the box with these type of injuries. So the second driver of pain is your general health. I'm going to specifically talk about mental health, which is depression and anxiety. So have you ever noticed when you get stressed that you get a sore neck and you get a headache? When you're sick, you get the same type of symptoms. And I don't necessarily think the stress causes the pain, but it definitely makes it worse. So I treated this lady who came into my clinic and she sat there for half an hour and just spilled her heart out to me about everything that's ever happened to her. Very sad story. And I tested her nerves, and when you test someone's nerves, that gives you an indication of how much pain they're in. She was off the scale. I thought, what the hell am I going to do with this lady? So I saw her a week later, did a treatment, didn't really work. The third treatment, I came out into the waiting room, she just looked different. She was sitting upright, she had a smile on her face. I thought, what's going on here? And when she came in, she told me that her son had just got a scholarship to a really good local school here in Redcliffe. And I tested her nerves and they were fine. So someone who had had pain for 30 years, got some good news, and now they were no longer in pain. So this is how pain works, people. It's crazy stuff. And what I consider to be the third driver of pain is, just give me a second. Yeah, it's the things you do every day. It's your routines. So when you hurt yourself, you got to stop, don't you? You got to do nothing. But how long do you do nothing for? You know, a day, a week, a year. And so people don't really know when they should start moving again after an injury, and this causes problems. So an example of this is this silly bugger here in front of you. About a month ago, was playing touch footy, and he hurt his knee, and he did it again a week later. And while the knee was sore, I had to stop. While I stopped, all the rest of my muscles got weak. But thankfully, I have the skills to identify this. So yeah, not only did I work on getting the knee strong, but I worked on the rest of my body and got back to touch footy last week, and yeah, it didn't hurt myself. So the book that you're holding in your hands describes these simple concepts, and it's just such an easy read, people, so I've got a challenge for you. So in the next 2 weeks, I actually want you to read the book. If you put it on your bookshelf, it's dead to you. So yeah, it will honestly take you 2 or 3 hours to read, and it could be 2 or 3 hours that is life-changing. And not just for you, probably for the people you love the most and the people who are close to you, because the only thing more frustrating than actually being in pain is having your most loved people in pain as well, and not really knowing how to help them. It's the worst feeling in the world. So after you read the book, the next challenge is I would like you to find that person who's near and special to you, and I'd like you to give them the book. If they don't give it back, come up to my clinic and I'll give you another one for free. So after I finish my talk, if you have people who are close to you who need the book, we're going to be selling extra copies tonight. We're going to be selling them for half the normal price. We're only charging $10 for those. So if you'd like to buy copies for your friends and family, please come up to us at the desk. Now, my plan with this book is to spread it throughout the world. I've already put it on Amazon.com. Now, Amazon's a pretty big marketplace, so any of you that are computer